Good morning, everyone. We are trying to get our act together this morning. Yeah, we're trying to get our act together, see if this works. Um, Everything seems to be connected. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hope everyone is doing well. And more than anything, hope you can actually hear me because I'm trying. There we go. There we go. I was trying to get this set up. Anyhow, I took a quick jot of the news feeds this morning, and I wanted to get on here and kind of talk about it early in the morning. I know that I haven't really done a lot of lives. Good morning, everyone. Um, I've been spending way too much time on TikTok, and sometimes my topics go and get out of hand there because I have an audience that's Spanish speaking and a lot of women that, as we all know, we like to talk, right? So let's get into this. Last week on the 20th, we talked about on the Hill. There was a document that said that Jackie Rosen brought a bill to the floor along with Cancun Cruz, and they were going to get a tax bill run through to eliminate taxes on tips, which is a good thing because if you really look at the big, beautiful bill, it has a lot of things that shouldn't have. And the whole tax on tips is um, withheld for people with certain wages. So we could talk about that all day long, but it's a huge nightmare in my head. Let's talk about HB4 and SB6. These are anti-library bills in the nation. It's actually dead on arrival. The Just Librarians Act HB4 would have helped criminalize librarians, along with SB6, which privatizes and politicizes library boards. Um, I think that when you start going after libraries, it's a big problem because that's education, and we all know that education is power. And many of us love to read. I can't or I won't show you any of my books because then you'll know what kind of addictions I have. Anyhow, moving on, we know that Tommy Tuberville is going to be running for governor. Watch out, Alabama. We also know that Mitch McConnell has retired, he or will be retiring. He will not be seeking re-election. So we're wondering who's going to take his place because really we shouldn't have anyone on there that is of social security age. That means that if you're nearing the age of 62, you shouldn't be in office anymore. I'm sorry, look at, greener pastures because let's be honest, we need new and active minds to be out there, and especially young minds. Why do I say this? Because technology is changing, and even I, who understand technology to some extent, have a difficult time with certain things. So please, 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 if you don't know how to manage the internet and you don't know how to work it and you don't know what um, AI is and you think it's an A1 sauce, you shouldn't be in government whatsoever. And that's my personal opinion. I know that other people have other opinions, but that's where I stand. Um, the big, beautiful bill has some oppositions in it. Um, and some of them not for the right reasons, some of them for the right reasons. For example, Josh Hawley of Missouri has opposition to it because it would cut extreme amounts of money off of Medicaid. And as we all know and have heard from him, he has large constituent groups in his state that use Medicaid. So that would be a problem. You have definitely a conflict between the centrist Republicans and the so called conservative Republicans. These are the people that are holdouts right now that we could still call and make a change, meaning we can put pressure on them so that they don't vote for this big, beautiful bill. And that is Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Tom Tillis from North Carolina, against Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, Rick Scott of Florida, Mike Lee of Utah. And Mike Lee wants severe cuts to Social Security and Medicaid. Um, I have heard him say this on many occasions in the past where they have caught him in undercover videos. So that is another individual that we should be looking at. And then, of course, Josh Hawley. Hello, Chase. I hope you're doing well. So these are the individuals that we could still call to put a stop to the big, beautiful bill. Again, Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Tom Tillis of North Carolina, Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, Rick Scott of Florida, Mike Lee of Utah, and Josh Hawley. They want to try and pass this bill by the 4th of July. I highly doubt it. It's going to be very controversial. Then today on the Hill, we have the whole thing with the parade. So apparently it started out as it's going to be a birthday parade. Did you guys all remember that? They were talking about it's going to be a birthday parade. It's going to be for Donald Trump. Everything's going to be fabulous. To all of a sudden, it's a celebration of 250 years of the Army being in service. Well, it so happens to be on Donald Trump's birthday. So why not? Let's celebrate two things at once, the birth of the Army along with my birthday. The other thing is that it's going to cost approximately $45 million. Oh, wait, it's Flag Day as well. One more thing. The only other countries that do this type of thing is North Korea, Russia, and China. So, welcome to the opposition that we so much hate and don't trust. Now we're part of that team. Thank you very much. The Hill has also reported that SCOTUS intends to save the feds because the administration is looking at firing Powell. The Federal Reserve is just an 800 pound gorilla that can take on this legal fight with the agents. Well, the only problem is that the Supreme Court is 6-3 conservative. They are signaling that they want to give President Trump more immunity and more expansion of power, and that is going to be problematic for the American people because how much do you want to give them in leeway? So that's the other thing. The New York Times today said that the US has halted US visa interviews. So if you're trying to come into the United States with a student visa, they're going to do extreme background checks on your social media and make sure that you're not importing unfavorable thoughts about the administration or the country. So don't come to the United States. Don't travel here and don't spend your money here. Keep your money in your country. Maybe Canada, Europe, Mexico. Go to those places. You know, they have lots of wonderful places and lots of fabulous things you can do. The other thing is that also by the New York Times, RFK Jr. announced that both healthy children and pregnant women do no longer require any type of COVID vaccines. So there you go. If you're a pregnant woman and a healthy child, you don't need this. Also, they are looking to cut $2.2 billion in research grants. Okay. 60 million that goes to Harvard for National Institutes of Health. So that's pretty interesting because they're going after Harvard, as everybody knows. FYI, Harvard is granting free classes online for some kind of civic classes, political, so understanding the three branches of government, along with a bunch of different ones. So you guys should go look at the website. I've signed up for a few of them, but because my brain goes boink, sometimes I forget what they were. Anyhow, moving on. Um, whew, uh, they have frozen approximately 500 NIH grants to the Harvard Institute again. Um, some of them that go to Women's Hospital in Boston. The Center of Disease Control has ended a $60 million in money and funds. That's what they've cut. Christy Gnomes has requested that details about the student body at Harvard must be released. Harvard has resisted, and this is why there's such a problem with Harvard at this time because a judge has blocked any type of information to be given to the administration. I mean, really, they're doing everything they can to try and get their grimy little fingers on anybody's information that they are not happy with, or who was in opposition, or who was a resistance. So If you don't want to be part of that, I suggest you don't get in the kitchen. So if you can't handle the heat, stay out of the kitchen. The Trump administration would revoke tax exempt status to universities as well. Again, this comes in correlation with the battles that they're having with Harvard and the resistance that they're going about. Okay. Marco Rubio has sent out letters to all US embassies and consulates around the world to halt any interviews for student and exchange visas until further notice. So, once again, bringing in information and that they don't like. Okay. Uh, the New York Times has also stated that ICE agents arrested a 20-year-old Venezuelan student enrolled in high school in New York City after he arrived at court for a routine hearing. Really, courts right now are a massive problem for the documented and undocumented individuals, for the people who want a pathway to citizenship, that they're doing the right way at the right things at the right time, like everyone wants them to do. Well, now they're being detained in these courts, although they're in a process. So, what do you mean the right way? What do you mean a pathway that is legal to citizenship if you're stopping them at every left turn that is in front of them? So, as a country, as a nation, as citizens of the United States, we really need to think about what we're doing to other people because we are hurting them, whether you want to believe it or not. Okay. The Trump administration has also asked SCOTUS to let them deport 8 migrants to South Sudan, although they're not from there. They're not from that country and they don't speak those languages. So, while in the United States, although they may not speak these languages, there is ways for them to get around it because there's other peoples of those nations here in the United States. But what happens when you send them to South Sudan that's in the middle of conflict or in about an erupt of a conflict? Um, what happened to humanity? I thought that the United States was the country of let's save everyone, let's fight for other people's freedoms. But no, it looks like we're just continuing to demonize people left and right. All while Trump has pardoned um, nursing executives who did or committed tax crimes. He has pardoned them, and the executive's mother has been attending the $1 million fundraisers, dinners, and Mar a Lago. By all means, a couple of weeks ago, we found out that these were being auctioned out. So, any type of dinner that you're having with President Trump, you can actually win. So, if you would like to have dinner with him, go ahead. He has these auctions. Just send him a couple of bucks in crypto money, and you may be lucky enough to have dinner with him at Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, great, right? Never thought that this country would end up where it's at, and here we are. He also pardoned 2 reality TV stars who were convicted of evading tax evasion, right? And of committing fraud in banks at the amount of $30 million. Yeah, there you go. Criminals doing criminal acts, you never know who your friends are. I mean, I guess if you're Latino, you know that your parents tell you, I'll tell you who you are when you tell me who you hang out with. Super awesome. Also, NPR News is suing the Trump administration based upon them ending federal grants for broadcasting. They're also trying to punish an elite law firm. That's another thing that they're doing at this time. So there's a lot going on in the government. Let's, keep on going here. Today, I saw an article that stated on Axios that the White House cuts or is looking to cut aid to states for the unemployment system. The White House is looking to cut $40 million in funds for states. So this means that if you're unemployed or recently unemployed or will be recently unemployed, well, guess what? You may not have an unemployment check, although you contribute to unemployment in every payroll check. Somehow they have managed to brainwash the American public and say Social Security is a scam, it's a welfare system, and now we're getting on to unemployment and Medicare. But in actuality, every single working American in this country contributes to the system of unemployment and Medicare and Social Security. So They're coming for your unemployment next, and it's up to you to decide whether you're going to tolerate it or not. The other thing here is the Golden Dome, also reported by Axios. Apparently, he met with Carney, which is the Prime Minister of Canada, and he has apparently touted that they're a go to be part of the Golden Dome. But then a couple of weeks late, oh, he said it would be free, but a couple of weeks back, he said that it would only cost Canada like 61 million dollars to contribute so that they could be part of the shield. Um, Mark Carney, the prime minister, has said that they will be in talks with the European Union and not the United States of America. So that is pretty damn interesting. Axios and the Big Beautiful Bill and how it treats single parents. And this one is kind of a bummer for me. I think about all those single moms out there trying to provide for their children already as well as they can, sometimes without child support because the dad steps out. I know when I was a single parent, my daughter's father stepped out for all 20 years of her life until my daughter was about 28 years old. He came about and said, "Hey, how's it going? I'd like to have a relationship with you." But all of these years, I wasn't around to give you a hug, tell you I love you, or buy you diapers. But now I'm going to come around and be like, it's that I found God and I want to have a relationship with you. Kind of bullshit. So single parents will be the ones that suffer the blunt when it comes to SNAP benefits. They will be required to work if you have children of the age of 7 years old to 17. You must work at least 80 hours a week to qualify to receive SNAP benefits. Single parents. This includes whether you're a man or a woman. If you're on SNAP, you will be required to work. Now, the ones that will not be required to work are married parents. So if you're married, you will not be required to work at all. You will be exempt from it and you will be able to receive SNAP benefits. The other people who are exempt are homeless people, veterans, and pregnant individuals under the age of 18 or over 64. These Ed Bolin says these policies are unjust. They will be cutting $30 million in SNAP benefits. Bottom line, single parents suffer while married couples benefit. And that's kind of a brief of today and what has happened thus far this morning. So I hope that you enjoyed my rant. I want to come on here and kind of tell you what's happening quickly, snappily, and say goodbye. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it and have a fabulous day.